So I've got two questions here, both of a very similar nature. One is from a young dude who's been dating a girl that he really loves. He's madly in love with her, but he feels as if he's imprisoned by this relationship. He wants to experience other women, but he truly loves his girlfriend. What does he do? Does he stick with her but feel resentment towards her and this feeling of imprisonment? Or does he just cut it off and go pursue other women, right? And then we got another question from a guy, similar situation, where his girlfriend, they're madly in love, they love each other, but she has made it clear from the beginning that she wants to be with other men. She just wants an open relationship. I have no problem loving you. I'd like to love you. I'd love to enjoy our time together, share good feelings, but there are going to be opportunities that I might want to pursue. There may be other men that I want to open up to, and I hope you're okay with that. So we got both situations where there is a dude feeling trapped and another guy who wants to trap with love. And I wanted to approach this video with a principle or an idea that really it's the truth. It's that love is not ownership. And it's a very difficult concept to understand, especially in the way we've created the society, civilization that we live in, with marriage and the way we date. It's essentially where we love each other and that's it. Love has boundaries now, as opposed to being what it truly is, which is boundless. So how do we navigate, how do we go about our lives, how do we deal with civilization, be civilized with one another, while obeying the natural law that love is boundless? We've created psychological constructs to have us believe that when there's love here, you're not allowed to have love anywhere else. And what that does is it creates guilt in our bodies and resentment towards that which we are shackled to. So if you're with an individual and you love each other and you tend to drift, even if it's just mentally, just your eyes, there's guilt associated with it. There's guilt associated with the fact that I'm just doing what naturally happens in my body, and there's nothing wrong, there's nothing evil, inherently evil, with being sexually attracted to multiple people at the same time. Even having warm, loving feelings towards multiple people at the same time. But we'll stop ourselves from allowing love to expand itself because we feel guilty that we're betraying the only one we're allowed to love. And if you decide to move with the guilt and suppress your emotion in order to fulfill the obligation with your beloved, then there's going to be, which there always is, resentment associated with the guilt that you have. Guilt is basically it's a situation where there is a moral judgment being placed on a natural feeling in the body. The expansion of love and sexual feelings towards other people is natural, but we have to literally beat it down but through our own conscious activity. And if I know the source of my beating down the natural feelings in my body is you, who's supposed to be my beloved, then there's going to be resentment there. And this is why relationships don't work. This is why marriage is, one of those constructs that is beneficial for upward mobility in society, depending on what it is you want your life to look like. I got to tell myself stories too, because I've been married for a long time. But goes against human nature, and we've all experienced it. I don't care who you are, how holy you are, what philosophy you subscribe to, what religion. The fact is that you're a human being, you've got human feelings, they're expressed or they're repressed. And then there's secondary emotions associated with it, resentment and guilt. It's just going to happen. It's one of those situations where we really are denying who we are. And if you see God as I do, as the animating force in the universe, and we have to contain God as he's moving through us, as he, she, it is moving through us, because that's what sexual energy is. It's God moving through you, inviting you to expand your energy and expand love. God doesn't have contained love. God moves through you freely. It's free, open love. And we are literally stuffing God down, saying, God, it's not a good idea what you're doing through me, God. I've got a fucking boner here, and my wife is next to me, and that chick looks hot. Stuff. So, a number of things I want to share with you in this video. Number one, young dude who has his girlfriend and doesn't want to betray her, but dude, I'm young. I want to have lots of sex with lots of beautiful women, right? And you don't even have, it doesn't even have to be that pornographic. It could merely be, I just want to share love with other people. I want to share warm feelings with other people. Maybe just a warm embrace, right? It usually leads to something else, but hey, the heart is opening up to other people. But I genuinely love my girlfriend. You're going to have to just be honest with her. You're just going to have to tell her, look, babe, let's have a conversation. I love you. I love you with all of my heart and soul, everything that I have. But I cannot lie to you and have you believe that there aren't going to be times where I'm going to want to share my love with someone else. My love is expansive. My love goes far beyond just the experience that I have with you. This is a law of nature, and I refuse to deny my nature. This is not good or bad. This is merely stating it as it is. And you share that with her. You say, listen, this is just, if you'd like to be with me, because I'd like to be with you, this is the way it's going to be. Right? Give it a try. And my friend, MMA guy, he says he's in mixed martial arts, whose girlfriend wants to, and already told you, like I invited our first dude to do, already told you that this is what she was going to do. Bro, here's the thing, you do not own her. Love is not ownership. If she decides that she wants to love you, embrace, be with, appreciate, relish in the love that you have with one another. And when she shares it with someone else, don't look at it as a detraction from the amount of love that she has from you, but an expansion of the love that she can create. This is radical thinking. This is crazy. I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for this. But you don't own her, and she doesn't own you, and nobody owns anybody else. The only commitment we have to the person that we choose to love is honest and open communication and support in allowing that person to become the strongest version of themselves as we grow stronger. It's really the purpose of all of life. Become a stronger version of yourself, invite others, inspire others to become a strong version of themselves. And if you recognize a grounded sexuality in that individual, where they're practical, pragmatic, and simply expansive with their sexual energy, you gotta leave them alone. Now, there's hysterical sexual energy in some people, and that just manifests itself as like, this person just wants to have sex with everyone because they're either personally identified with their ability to have sex, right? Their ego construct is completely tied to their ability to have sex or to get people to have sex with them. This is dysfunctional sex. And this is, the majority of us, this is what it's become because we've suppressed it so much. So if you look at your beloved and you see like, sweetheart, you're just throwing your sex all over the place in a dysfunctional fashion, in ungrounded, hysterical fashion, then that might be something that you want to talk to without jealousy being a part of it. If he or she is having sex with lots of people and you love that individual and you see that it's hysterical, ungrounded sex, then you might want to talk to them about it because you love them and you want to see them become the strongest version of themselves, not because you're jealous. This is all very difficult. And I wish I could stand here and say to you, I've got this mastered. But it is a practical, rational way of looking at this whole situation. Now you say, Elliot, you're married. What do? How do you deal with this? Here's the story I've told myself. It might be a story that's helpful to some of you. I, being on the journey to being a stronger version of myself at this point in my life, and I'm very different than I was when I got married. I probably got married and you know what, I've been with my wife since we were children, and I've always been hasty. We've been together since we were 14 years old, and when the time came, I was like, let's get married. I didn't think about it. And I do not regret it at all. We've had some ups and downs. But at this point in my life, who I am, what I'm seeking to create in my life, the type of service I want to bring to the world, the type of family I'd like to build, I have to tell myself a story that doesn't create guilt, doesn't create resentment, but also keeps me tied to my commitment. And perhaps I am merely, a lot of what I share seems egotistical, self-centered. And I always invite you to become self-centered because that's where strength is found. That's where beauty is found. If we want to change the world, go inside first. You become a stronger version of yourself, and then you inspire others. So the way I stay strong to my commitments is because the commitment is mine. My commitment isn't to someone else. My commitment isn't necessarily to my wife, as much as I love her and she loves me. And I don't expect her to commit to me. My commitment is that the virtue of commitment, of discipline, of endurance, of patience, are virtues I'd like to build in myself. A stronger version of Elliott Hulse looks grounded, committed, focused, disciplined, and has endurance and has patience. These are all virtues that I'd like to build in myself, and they show up, they're strengthened, they're built through my relationship with my wife. So when I have to suppress impulse, sexual impulse, or to not take my loving expansion across a particular border, I am doing it simply because I realize for me to be a stronger version of myself through the virtue of commitment, I'm going to stop here. Do you see? And it's not always easy, but it's a commitment to myself. So I can't feel resentful towards myself because I'm doing it to myself. But if I said, I'm not going to move forward with you because, ball and chain, motherfucker, I got a wife, god damn, she's ruining my life. I just want to share my love, share my sex energy, and she just keeps getting in the fucking way. So it's going to be one of two things. It's going to be guilt. Oh, why do I feel this way? I should just push it down. I'm a bad, bad man because my dick gets hard. Or it's going to be, fucking bitch is always like ruining my life. Neither of which are resourceful. Growing stronger, choosing your virtues, the things that you'd like to grow strong in, and using the life that you've chosen, i.e. marriage or relationship, as a field, as a tool through which you can grow those virtues, is the way I see it working at this time, in this day and age, in my particular life, and hopefully those ideas are resourceful to you. The younger generation, as you guys are moving up, I've got four children, 3 daughters and a son. And I've got some really liberal ideas when it comes to social ideas, especially when it's associated with sex and love and expression. And it's difficult because we're fighting against societal condition. We're fighting against civilization. We're fighting against the social constructs. And if you want to win at this fucking game, you play the game and you follow the rules. But I think we're coming to a stage in our development where you can opt out of the game. There are more options available to us than that of the traditional socioeconomic game that we've been playing up until this point. And that's a big part of the reason why I created the non-job revolution. It's part of the reason why I share these ideas, because we're expanding. We're rapidly evolving as a culture. And when I say culture, I mean a world culture. We're becoming more integrated. Our ideas are far more expansive. There's more experimentation with lifestyle. And who am I and who are we, or who is anyone who's made a particular choice for themselves in their lives, be it actions that they've taken, i.e. gotten married, or traditions that they hold dear to their hearts, to impose it on a future generation that is merely doing what God is doing through it, which is evolving, changing. Life is dynamic. Human beings are dynamic. This is where it's going. And I'm not so sure that the restrictive traditions of marriage and relationship as we see it, causing all the guilt and resentment that's associated with it, is going to be the way it's expressed in the future. I don't know what it's going to look like, but my deepest desire for the future generations, including my children, is that they can live in a world where they don't have to suppress natural impulse and feeling in order to get by, but yet you can move freely in your life, expressing yourself to the fullest capacity in a grounded, practical, pragmatic fashion, not hysterical. Our sexuality has become very sexual. Even our liberal sexuality has become, it's far too ungrounded. It's far too hysterical. I think we need to become grounded in ourselves first. We need to breathe deep ourselves first. We need to become meditative ourselves first. We need to find ourselves, experience, appreciate, love ourselves. And then, through that groundedness, find resourceful ways to share ourselves with as many people as we possibly can. And that's all.